Hello, everyone, and welcome to State of the Realm. Don't mind, live viewers, me forgetting to actually switch to the State of the Realm start screen. People won't see that on the YouTube side of things, so you don't have to worry about it. We took basically the whole month off for a bunch of reasons. Not much to talk about. Armored Core, you know, the usual. Okay, yeah, listen, that's fine. That's fine. Listen.
Sorry.
Yeah, now Sea of Stars and Starfield and all the other related. But we got shows coming up, so we're good. And this week is going to be celebrating 10 years of Final Fantasy XIV. We're, of course, going to talk about the recent Rising event and other recent news as well, but we're also going to reminisce a little bit about how awful Paladin was in Heavensward, and we've got just the guest for that. Anyway, I'm one of your hosts, Mr. Happy, and of course, joining me is Sly. How you doing, Sly?
Awesome.
That sounded like a half-hearted awesome, in all honesty.
No. Doing great.
Okay. The high-pitched also says...
Plus.
Why do you do this? Why are you bringing this into the show? I already said I haven't seen any of that. All right, I'm introducing the person, the other person.
You've done New Game Plus.
I thought you said something else because I was talking over you. Never mind. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. No, you're good. 100%. And of course, an expert on the topic I mentioned at the start of the show, we have longtime fellow co-host member and friend, I swear, still friends after that comment, Frosty.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, I can't believe a literal job choice I made, like 8, 9, 10 years ago has followed me all the way till today.
Isn't that why they're called memories?
Yeah.
Special times. It's funny, I was reporting on Heavensward, like I was going over like all the patches recently, and all I could think of every time I had to bring up Paladin, because you were the only one I think you and Miz. I think Miz also stuck through Paladin the entirety of.
She swapped up, I think, for Dark Knight when needed, if I remember right. I would have to ask.
Oh, yeah, I'd have to just remember. Yeah, it's so long ago at this point.
Yeah,
but I knew you. I knew you. That's because Frosty, I know you so well, and you're so special to me that I just commit you to memory more. See, it's a compliment.
I appreciate it. You know what? If I'm burned into your memories for the rest of your life as a paladin from Heavensward, you know, I will cherish that, knowing that I exist within you somehow.
Yeah, I mean, with your Twitter name, what's your Twitter name now? World Race Guy.
I just leave it up there. It's easier. The World Race Guy, Mogtalk Dude. You know, I'm so bad at branding.
I'm just giving you more names. That's all.
Paladin, Heavensward Paladin.
That PvP guy. There's the other.
The PvP community would hate you for saying that, but yeah, the PvP guy.
I mean. It's still, I don't care if anyone hates me, but that's what you were at one point. You go through every expansion, you have a different name.
The Sage Paladin, guy right PvP now, maybe guy, they might call me the Party Finder Sage. Yeah, that could be it now. Yeah,
exactly. See, you just collect names. It's like, you know how in 14 people do achievements to get new titles? It's like that for you, but in real life.
Yeah. No, I'm all today. I'm Rainbow Shirt Dude. So.
Is that what that? I mean, I couldn't have made fun of you for that.
You can't. That's right. Yeah.
I see the colorblind guy. I see about 3 colors on that shirt, but I'll take your word that there's more. It's good to have you back. I think the last time I had you on was a year ago.
That adds up. I think that's right. Well, it depends. Because that'd be when I haven't started full-time streaming yet, so...
Oh, then you've definitely been on. Oh, no, yeah. So I looked up your name, and episode 313, July 16th, 2022 is the last time you were on.
Oh, so a little over a year.
Yeah.
A little over a year.
It does not feel like it's been that long, and I feel like I've mistitled something because I swear it hasn't been over a year.
Well, you've been on Mog Talk, too. That's true. So there could be some sort of like cross bit of memories where you kind of think it was stated around, but it was Mog Talk or something like that. Yeah. I don't know.
When I'm on the better show, I definitely commit that to memory more.
So you remember a little over a year ago then?
I remember Mog Talk. Yeah. Sorry, Sly.
I'm just fucking here. I don't.
Hey, Sly, you know what? I was thinking about like a co-host for Mog Talk at some point, you know.
Yeah, hit me up. Okay. DMs are open. Yeah.
Oh. Slide in the Sly's DMs. There you go. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for agreeing to come on the show this week. Sly had to remind me that we should do a show this week because my brain's been occupied in a million different things. So thank you, Sly, for not only remembering, but beating me to asking Frosty, because I was like, oh, yeah, I was going to ask Frosty for that show. And he's like, got him.
Yeah. Target acquired.
Target acquired. Yeah.
No, I appreciate you guys bringing me on. It's been a while, and I've had a chance to hang out with Sly a little bit, but I haven't had time to sit down and talk with you a little bit, Happy. So I'm glad we're getting together and doing it. Just chat about things, even if it's just going over the last 10 years, which I am a little bit honored, I'd say, that you would think of me when talking about the last 10 years.
Well,
Final Fantasy 15.
I think of it like this before we even do the sponsor thing. We haven't even done that yet. But the way I think of it is there's about the same amount of time that we've both been doing State of the Realm and Mog Talk. So a large portion of that 10 years is overlapped with those two things. So I think of them as kind of like co-conspirators of time, I suppose.
Yeah, I remember Mog Talk and going forward with it. I'm like, there's not a lot of podcasts out there. I mean, there were like a podcast or two out, right? It's like, I'm going to start doing this. And then Mr. Happy made his podcast. I'm like, this motherfucker.
It's still kept going. I had the same thought. I was like, man, I'm making a podcast. This motherfucker.
It was after FanFest, right? I mean, I don't know if that was the same thing.
It was January of 2016. January of 2016 was the first show.
Yeah, I remember doing it because I remember going to FanFest in 2014 and having that urge of just wanting to talk to people about Final Fantasy 14. And that literally brought me to life. And I was like, I need to do a podcast where I talk to people with Final Fantasy 14 constantly. And I'm assuming maybe you went through FanFest, kind of had that same kind of feeling. I want to talk to people more about Final Fantasy 14 and your podcast. I don't know. I'm guessing.
Not too far off.
Okay.
There's a few things mixed in there, but no, that's the gist of it, approximately. It's more like a suggestion to me, and then I was like, that's a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it was organized by myself and Mel at the time.
Right.
Yeah. So, that's first memory for 10 years. I want to thank the sponsors real quick, and then we can move on to the event and talking about more of the 10 years. All right.
Yeah.
It's quick. I just say thank you to the sponsors over on Patreon for supporting. They don't have to. They choose to because all our content's free anyway, so it's not like there's any sort of benefit for it. They just choose to do it. And if they do, they do. If they don't, great. Doesn't matter. Enjoy the show. Thank you to anyone who does do it. And also thank you to Steel Series for sponsoring the show as well. See? Nice and quick.
Quick and dirty.
Quick and dirty.
Nice. I wouldn't say that was dirty. That's pretty clean.
Yeah, but I'm dirty. It's a jersey.
You're happy.
Yeah, that's true. That's correct.
Don't.
He's been waiting to do that
shit all the time. We don't need that from you. No.
He's doing it because like he doesn't get. Yeah, exactly. It's in his head all the time. Literally on his stream when he says the word happy, I see the pain. Like just wash over him. Like if he's here, I swear to God. If he's here, I swear to God.
I just have to use different words. I just have to use different words, and same thing with llama. Got to use different words. I can't talk about llamas anymore because there's association now. I have.
Yeah, that's a big problem. Mm-hmm.
It's bad because I have children's books, llama, and then now I have to associate reading this children's book to my daughter with llama tot, and I can't even read a book anymore. I hate it.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a very frequent problem. All right.
We have a lot of those llama books. Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm derailing.
That's okay. It's just like your show, so it's fine.
Yeah. We're never on the tracks.
No. Sly is even dressed like he wants to stay on the tracks a little bit today. Like he's like ultra professional. He showed up to work to get it done, and it's not happening.
This isn't a Gundam shirt.
I know, but I'm saying it looks like you came for business.
Wait, you said that's an undershirt?
No, you said a Gundam.
Oh, it's a Gundam shirt. It's a professional shirt, though. I mean, it's a button-up.
So it's just a nice shirt is what I'm saying. Something a pilot might wear. Or in this case, a conductor.
Yeah.
I'm saying you look good, Sly. Can't you just accept this?
You do actually look good. You look very well groomed today.
but
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, okay, take it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, the beard is
Absolutely.
bearding, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
shit showered and
Looks sharp,
shaved and yada yada yada. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm saying you're representing yourself very well. You're a great
Thank
person,
you.
absolutely amazing, and you look it. So there you go.
But only today.
Only
Only
today. Yeah,
today.
normally not.
Only
yeah,
today.
I'm telling
Only
you
today.
because it's different than normal. Yeah.
All right. Well, good to be back after like 3 weeks of not having a show. And this is how it begins. It's okay. We just go on people's radios while they drive to work or sit on the bus or whatever they're doing anyway. They only tune in because it's a convenience. So that's,
Yeah.
that's what
Something to
we're here
listen
for.
to.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
But something that is also something you should do and it ties in your most timely convenience is our latest seasonal event, and that of the Rising. Now, normally we would not do a show around the Rising or around the events of the Rising. It would get a passing mention in another show because, like most seasonal events in 14, it's kind of done in 15 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this one is celebrating 10 years of A Realm Reborn's service. We're going to forget the other 3. As much as I would love to, I can't. But like everyone else can just pass that along, sort of. Because they kind of won't let you anymore now with this most recent update. You kind of have to know a little bit about 1.0 as of the Rising. I gotta say, as much as the rewards are really cool for the Rising, before we talk about it, the quest is fine. It does feel not much different than any other Rising. It's kind of just like they could have released this any year, and it would have been exactly the same, in terms of the actual quest itself.
I would say it's slightly less than the previous ones. And I only say this. I don't do seasonal events normally. In the past, I haven't done a lot of them, mostly because I was working like 60, 70 hours, right? And so I was just like, seasonal events, whatever. I'll let it pass. But I did do a Rising once or twice, right? And the one that I remember, I think, the most is when you went up an elevator and you went to, like, I think sort of a simulator, not a simulator, but like a recreation somewhat of their floor. And you talk to kind of developers or lore makers sort of as NPCs and everything else. It looks like a lot. It felt like a lot of work went into that and those conversations and everything else. This you get like I'm guessing we're spoiler. Okay.
Yeah, it takes 15 minutes. If people haven't done it, I don't care.
Okay. Well, you go through this series of someone that I don't remember very well because I've been so horrible about doing the past quests and everything else, and trying to tell them they shouldn't be alone and do everything on their own, right? And that's the main chunk of it. Then you get about 5 minutes with NPC Yoshida on an airship, and then you go back.
And now you're a Phoenix.
Now you're in Phoenix, yeah. So I'm sorry, I don't know if it's like the wrong take here, but I do feel like it was, with everything feeling so grand of 10 years, starting a whole new storyline, a whole new everything, right? Going through this whole new adventure. It felt kind of mild after all the buildup of, hey guys, it's been 10 years, we feel crazy about that. But didn't feel so crazy.
When you compare it to going to the dev floor that 1 year, it does kind of feel a little bit light. And I do agree with you that while it was a decent Rising event, it was a little bit lacking, especially for this being the 10-year anniversary, like you said. Yeah, I'd expect it to be a little more grandiose, I guess. Excuse me. Like, not necessarily saying we had to do the exact same thing and go to the dev floor and everything, but like I expected a little bit more. I mean, other than getting the little Mog mini game.
We'll get to
the mini game was pretty good.
Yeah.
Mini game was pretty good.
Yeah, the mini game's pretty good. I'll admit that's a good thing. I'm glad we got that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I expected, I expected a little bit of more reminiscing, going
Yeah.
through our histories and everything, and but yeah, we didn't get that, and I feel like that's kind of a missed opportunity from the devs. But otherwise, I mean, it's still a solid event. We're not saying it's bad. Like, still go do it. It takes 15 minutes. Like, most of you are probably going to skip the dialogue anyway because you want the pretty burp, and that's fine. But still, go do it.
Then it takes 5 minutes.
Yeah. The dialogue is pretty much just saying, "Hey guys, don't do everything on your own," which is a good thought, and that was it.
Which is ironic because over the past couple of years we've kind of moved from hey, this is an MMO to hey, yeah, you have trust now. Yeah, so
but you're not doing it by yourself. Yeah. You have trusted NPCs. Yeah.
They're not real people.
They're not.
You tell that to some people who play Final Fantasy 14. I don't think they believe
right
you.
Now. They're not real.
Dangerous territory there, buddy.
They're real to the people who leveled them.
I leveled them. They're still not real to me. What the fuck?
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel
tell that to my body pillow.
And I want to highlight some good things about it. I do think it was good that they went back and they did a little bit of 1.0, just some information out there, a nice little feeding us a little bit of that for the people who weren't around. A lot of people who are really in the lore already knew all that stuff. I'm certain of it. Mm-hmm. But it was just good to kind of have that in the hands of people who maybe casually touch the lore or anything else, just see it and be like, oh yeah, I mean, that was me, right? I saw that. I was like, I know this because I had to like read this information for a show once. So I know this a little bit. And it was good to kind of see that a little bit. But I will say that like the other thing that was kind of nice was I believe that's when Yoshida was starting to take over the game and everything. So he's probably feels closer to that part of 1.0 because that's when he came in. Am I right about that?
So as the resident 1.0 dumbass,
okay.
He took over 4 months into 1.0's development. There was literally the launch story. They did one update where you had 8-player leave quests. And that was it. And then he took over.
Okay.
So,
but he was leading this charge, and that part of the story was
and literally everything important that happened in 1.0 happened after Yoshi. Because to give you an idea of what happens before he took over, essentially you get an adventuring fellow that like does quests with you. It's a random NPC that you customize, kind of like the retainer, who is fucking dead as far as I'm concerned, because all of us 1.0 players have no idea what happened to our adventuring fellow. And it ends with Gaius killing a bunch of Alamegans, and then the Scions fight Gaius. You can't understand a fucking word he's saying. It's like Darth Vader without them make... Oh, you remember the first clip of like Bane talking in Dark Knight where you can't have no fucking idea, like the early like previews of it? Yeah, Gaius sounds like that. You literally cannot discern a word he's saying without anything. And then he fucking nukes the cutscene with the warship, with the not the Agrius, the other one that they made after the Agrius. Whatever. He nukes the battlefield with a warship, and then the story's over for that patch. That's all that happened. There's no nail, there's no primals, none of it.
Okay. Well, I mean, like I would assume this is so. And my thought process is Yoshida was like, this is 10th anniversary. I'd like to throw a little bit of information about when I was coming in and I took over and kind of that story and how he ended everything and all that stuff. Make that, and then he kind of walked away. And the people who were making it did their best to kind of do that task, and that's it. They didn't go like really hardcore into like looking through it, seeing that this is like a really interesting, crazy, big, giant patch or anything else. They just wanted something that would simulate what Yoshida's ask was on that. And I don't know that for sure. I'm making assumptions like a normal asshole, I guess, would. But the other part of it is Yoshida comes down and he says what he does on the ship to you. And I would 100% tell you, if Yoshida talked to 99%, there's a 1% he would fucking not say those things to. But 99% of the player base, he would say exactly that to you in person. So it feels okay that they made an NPC that said this really personal thing to everyone because he would probably say that to you in person if you did walk up to him. There is 1% that you guys got a freebie on it because you definitely wouldn't have those things said to you.
You know who the 1% is? It's the guy from the fan fest that asked the question about the brothels. That's
that was that. He's in that 1% category. 100%. Yeah. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But he does feel, I'm sure he's very appreciative to the community because this has been his life and he plans to make it the rest of his life. And so just like, Mog Talk and me, right? I'm appreciative of everybody that watch it. Same thing, Celerain, your stream, State of the Realm, everything. You're appreciative of all the people who come together in that little community that's there. Yoshida just has it on a very big scale. That's huge with millions and millions of people. So I'm sure he does genuinely feel that way. So those are the big positive highlights of all that as well. But overall, I mean, the developers could have put a little bit more on fin to it, I think, for a 10th anniversary.
Yeah. So you haven't done most of them, but I could rattle off at least 3 or 4 that were better than this one in terms of the actual quests. There's the one where we literally went back to the 1.0. So at the end of 1.23, there was 3 patches, A, B, and C. C was the designation of the game's not being saved anymore, so we're just going to destroy the whole world in this patch.
Right.
And part of that was the cities being overrun by Naildis, Darnus clones and chimeras. And we got to simulate that in 1 year of the Rising. They sent us into that event and we were just walking around Ul'dah just killing these massively OP enemies that were there. And while the Answers is playing in the back and everything, they gave us a little mini game, cheap dungeon, where you have to navigate through an old school NES era first person point of view, not Wolfenstein. It's more like a point and click Discovery games.
Wizardry.
Yeah, Wizardry. That's a good example. Yeah, and then we had even the year where we met the NPC from this, where you are pretending. Do you know the NPC you speak to the first time you make a new character? That was the whole point of that Rising event. We were that NPC for the sake of that quest itself. So even meeting this character, I thought was kind of done better than this kind of just generic outing with him, which was fine, but it's generic. Again, they could have released this for any year, not the 10th year, and it would have felt exactly the same. And I think that's where the disappointment comes. If this was any other year, it'd be okay, whatever. But it's the 10th year, so it's you could have done more.
Yeah. It's sad just because the creations were better than this one, and I don't know the internal workings of everything that happened at Square Enix, but I can assume that there are newer people on the team, and maybe they were given this task or something, and they were held to the standards of people who did this stuff. No, you would say it's the same people who did the other ones.
I think they put it all in the Louis Swat quest. I think they just prioritized that in the mini game versus the Rising quest itself, which I disagree with, but I mean we did get those things out of it.
Okay.
Because that is more than we normally get as well for the Rising. We don't normally get
side quest wise
a permanently new quest line that describes the events of 1.0. Because that's not a seasonal event. That's permanent. That's in the game from now on.
Oh yeah.
And then also this now also in the toy chest permanent mini game with Koopa Adventure, which is just for messing around. I'm waiting for a portable toy chest so that way I can play it anywhere and not have to go back to the in room. But it is what it is. Waiting for the portable MP3 player too. It's just fine. It's whatever. Just keep asking.
Oh yeah, no, that'd be great.
Portable glamour chest too.
Oh yeah, just carry a closet with you or something and just flop it out.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be good.
Things that will never happen for 500.
I mean, fuck. D&D has a bag of holding. Why can't we get that shit?
I don't think the resources to do D&D are as heavy as the Final Fantasy XIV resources.
Well, you have not played Baldur's Gate 3.
Well, Baldur's Gate, that's a game.
If you think that, you haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 yet.
Yeah. I am not playing it because I know how much that will absorb my life, and I have to go to Party Finder. So
you don't have to go to Party Finder.
You don't have to. Yeah, exactly. You don't have to. You choose to.
I choose to because it's fun, and it's good content.
Fun is.
I think the second part matters more than the first part.
Healing Party Finder is literally the best content in this entire game.
Oh, I agree with that. I heal Unreal every Tuesday, and that's a.
Well, you heal Unreal with your chat, right?
That doesn't make it any better necessarily.
Okay, fair.
It makes a slight difference, I will say, because it's see, the thing is with chat, you can kind of curate your party, whereas with PF, you get what you get.
Yeah,
oh, no,
PF,
I just let chat come in. I don't curate. I'll be like, guys, please. And I know they can hear me is the thing. Now I know they can actually hear me begging and pleading for my life. Unlike Party Finder, where it's just me pleading to me at this point.
Yeah, the beauty about Party Finder sometimes is a lot of the times, it depends, I guess, how well known your character is. But when they don't know who your character is and they treat you just like some random person they don't give a fuck about, those are the best interactions. I love it. It is so much fun to just see how entitled some people could be. And just kind of see what everybody's kind of seeing. But it's not always that way. You get the other side of the coin too, sometimes. But it's a fun. There needs to be like a lot of social experiments done on Party Finder, I think.
It's hilarious. I recently did a social experience in the Duty Finder.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Sly, what are you making that look?
I know where you're going.
How do you know? What do you mean? How you know where I'm going? Where am I? Tell me, Sly. Where am I going then?
You're talking about the DC shit, right?
No.
Really?
I did do this on Primal, though. I don't know if that says anything, but that's not necessarily relevant to the story.
I mean, yeah, some people will say it says something.
Well, yeah, but I didn't compare it to the other. I didn't compare it to the other data centers. I just know now that I get better content on Primal.
You get better content as it's funny?
That's what he said.
Yes.
I'm surprised you get content on Primal. Usually you have to go to Aether to get content.
Not Party Finder, Duty Finder.
Because
Duty Finder.
Okay, here's the thing, and I'm gonna shut this shit down before you get into it. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this shit down right now. The reason he gets content out of Duty Finder / PF on Primal is because the people who actually are serious about shit actually have groups. So
or they go to Ether.
No, they don't.
They really do. We get a lot. We get
lazy to go.
No. Yeah. We get a lot of Primal people in the Ether PF. Like a lot.
The thing is, like, Ether is a last resort.
It's it's not. It's their first resort.
It is like for even my group. It's like, do we really have to go to Ether? Like,
Sly.
Most of my groups in Party Finder are travelers on Aether.
Yeah.
Most of them are travelers.
Mm-hmm.
I will let you know, I have more travelers in my groups normally than I have non-travelers.
So let me put it this way. That was number one, but what else was I going to say?
Well, I like how we're talking about the 10th anniversary here, and
this
somehow
is part of it.
it.
Party Finder is part. Listen, it's still a thing. We gotta break down all the experiences for people. But
Sure.
And besides, I already said it's like this is just reverse Mog talk, so we have to derail.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm in your spot and you're in my spot. That's like the key difference. And Sly is in the same spot, I assume.
Just shaking his head
and giving thumbs up. No, it's damn, what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought a little bit on Ether as I was listening to you.
Something about everyone going to Ether for Party Finder.
Yeah. No, so the thing that happened with Sly, it wasn't that it was just a Duty Finder. I went into A5 normal mode. Mm-hmm. And in that, there's the mechanic with the flasks where you have to transform into the animals. And my social experiment was I will not do that mechanic to see what happens. Because if I do it, it'll get done correctly. But if I just watch everyone else do it, there's a good chance it goes horribly wrong. That is exactly what happened.
Yeah. I will say, if we did want to go back to, 2.x, whatever days of Party Finder,
2.x didn't have a Party Finder.
Well, it eventually came in, right?
3.x.
Party Finder was in 2.x, wasn't it?
Let's see. I wrote it down because I've been going through all the retro. Oh, it might have been cross. Oh yeah. So Party Finder came out in 3.0.
It came out in 3.0 with the expansion.
Yeah.
Okay. So back in that day,
and it was only on your server. It was only on your server at the time.
Yeah, it was only on your server. It was not cross server. Then I transferred my character from Exodus to Gilgamesh. So because Party Finder was dead there, it was extremely popular in Gilgamesh. And so a lot of raiders went and did that. And so we're kind of seeing that, but in a non-permanent way with data centers right now. And hopefully we get into that next evolution when we get into the 11th and 12th anniversary, where we have regional Party Finder, right?
They have talked about it recently, as a matter of fact, doing regional connections. They said they are discussing with their engineers and trying to see what hurdles there are to accomplishing that.
Yeah. Then it'd make life easy. But then when we go into Party Finder, we have a lot more of like, Primal players, of course. They always do this.
That's all I get anyway on Ether. It's all Primal. It's the people on Primal, though, that I don't mind being on Ether.
Okay.
It's the people who aren't so proud of Primal that they refuse to do anything else.
They refuse to leave Primal and go to Aether.
Yeah.
Like Sly.
I mean, yeah, I guess. But Sly's also not in the crew of Primal people that I've anecdotally run into hilarious situations with. Yeah. And I like to throw that in, anecdotally. But all the Primal people...
Although I do run into hilarious situations on Primal.
I mean, we're talking about NA right now, too.
No.
EU's a whole different beast in Party Finder. Have you guys done any EU Party Finder?
Dude, I'm not making another character. Dude, I literally transferred a character to Australia when that came out, and I just transferred him back. I was like, I'm not doing
Really?
Yeah.
It is a whole nother universe in interactions. I mean, there's some things, but yeah.
Different.
Huh? Good or bad?
In both ways. Both ways. You have still the same impatient 3 wipes to span, stuff like that, craziness. But strats develop a little bit differently. It's so weird because, it's like people drive on the left side here, drive on the right side here, but in P12S, they tank the limit break on the left side instead of taking on the right side, sort of deal is how it happens over there with the Party Finder switches. They do Hexacon for P12S instead of Pan-Pan.
Yes! Sorry, I'm a big fan.
It is all over the place. And also, you don't dance around way markers is like the biggest thing.
Macros.
You literally call your spots. And if you want a spot, you call it when you make the Party Finder. You put it in the Party Finder description. I'm H2. It's taken already. You can't take it when you come into my group.
Yeah. So, funny story about that. I'm a huge fan of macros. I think it should be the standard. And
They don't use macros over there. Not anymore.
Wait, you mean EU?
Yeah, EU. You list the raid plan.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, it's the same idea. It's still like you don't do the marker dance. Everyone just kind of knows what the strata is by the name, and you don't have to marker dance. You just call a position. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah, call them positions. Yeah.
Macros essentially is just visualizing before you call it without doing a raid plan. It's fine.
Right.
I was in Emerald Weapon once, and somebody posted a macro, and I was like, oh, thank God, somebody who gets it. And people are calling their positions. I'm like, oh my God, NA can do it. They can do it. Until the tank called the H1 position. And we're like, that's not a position for tanks. And they said, okay, H2.
So I'm guessing they didn't understand how macros work.
They didn't understand it, MT, OT, or MTST, or they did the T. Yeah. The T applies to that. They didn't. Yeah, we died repeatedly for a little bit because they couldn't. Then we did the marker dance and it was fine.
Usually, every once in a while I'll throw down NA way markers on EU, and either there's a couple things happen. A couple people will actually move. Then you know they're spies, right? If they move to their spots, you know they're NA spies. But usually they're very quick to just kill those way markers and put the regular way markers up. They don't even dick around with it. They're like, don't even try it. But it is interesting.
Spies.
Yeah, I don't know how it was in the past with Party Finder for EU and how that's kind of developed and everything. But it is interesting to see the different. I guess what they evolve to in the end game after a few weeks of a raid tier being out.
It's very interesting to see because it's also changed over the years. Like as Party Finder has changed over the years since we're trying to make this about the 10 years. I mean, just raiding has changed a lot. I mean, again, for all of A Realm Reborn, And it's funny because this issue has now followed NA even all these years later.
Mhm.
If you wanted to raid, you paid to transfer to Gilgamesh if it was open.
Yeah.
That was it. You didn't really have any. You could play on another server, but if you really wanted to raid, you had to go to Gilgamesh. Is how it was. Without
Your options were just lower, and so
Yeah.
if you didn't have consistent players that would show up on time all the time, it wasn't smart to be on a server that wasn't Gilgamesh. You could do it, and it would just take longer. It was just logically it made sense to go to the more popular raiding server,
Especially
but
if
they
you
were
weren't in a
plenty of
static. If you weren't in a static at all and you were just
Yeah.
looking for parties, you had to go to Gilgamesh. There was no way you were finding randos anywhere else. If you had
Yeah.
a static like Sly did when he started playing, which was not right at the start of A Realm Reborn, mind you. He started with the PlayStation 4 release.
Mm.
And then, got into Final Coil with that. Things were a little better for you by then, but they were also way better for Gilgamesh.
Yeah. I left Gilgamesh. Yeah.
I joined Gilgamesh in 2.4. That was like when the big Gilgamesh exodus happened, was in the wait for Heavensward. And then Gordius happened, and it was a fucking monsoon came in and fucking just washed all the players into Gilgamesh in the wait for 3.2. But what's funny is the reason Ether is the go-to place is because Gilgamesh is on Ether. So it kind of and Ether inherited that same reputation all those years later.
Well, I mean, it's just like the raiders localized there, and people who got serious about raiding. It was like they knew it was the right choice to be the most efficient way of like finding groups and everything else, and so that effect never really dissipated completely. But it will as soon as regional is enabled, regional party finder. So,
you know what else needs to be enabled? They really need to make it so you cannot carry Road to 80 off of your server. Because I made a free trial character to prepare for the upcoming free trial ultimates in Eureka and all that good stuff. Yeah. And I just made the character on Dynamis and left immediately and went back to Ether with my Road to 80.
Oh, really? So, like, even though you got the benefit of going to that server, you didn't have to stay on that server to keep the benefit. Okay. Huh. Yeah, they should make that completely get annihilated. You should write a bug ticket about it.
It's not a bug, so that's not where I'd write the ticket. It would be feedback.
It may be.
No.
It may be unintended.
No, it's not. It's always been this way of being able to take it off your server. Just they gave us a server that permanently has Road to 80, so it's like it's like the soup kitchen of Road to 80. You just show up and you just fucking get. At one time, I worked at a soup kitchen, and we were specifically warned to not let anyone near the food because what they do is they touch it all, so you can't give it to anyone else, and then they just take it all. And that's exactly what somebody did. That's what it is. That's what Dynamis is. It's just like putting your hands on the soup and then leaving with it.
Yeah. Do we think that they're going to get full use out of all the servers, or are we going to feel kind of like Dynamis is still going to be pretty empty when the expansion?
There's 4 more servers coming to Dynamis.
Yeah.
We're going to call those the Xbox servers.
Oh, yeah. Do you? That's another question. Do you think Xbox is really going to bring in a lot of players?
I actually do, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. Been saying this shit for years. I don't.
Can't you just play Xbox on your PC now, basically?
But but the big thing is the actual barrier to entry for having a console versus a PC is far more diluted now. Like a console is genuinely a perfectly good alternative to a PC now if you're just playing video games. It's not like where there was like a massive disparity between generations of like hardware. Like genuinely, if you have a PS5 or an Xbox and you only want to play games and you can play them on those, there's no reason to get a PC to play video games. That's just how it is. In fact, there's a good chance the PC you get doesn't play it as well as the console, depending on what game it is. Yeah. Like that's just the unfortunate reality of how it's been for the past, especially this last year. So I think that there's a lot of people who only play on Xbox. And I think a lot of them are not really sure they even want to play an MMO. They don't really have much in the way of options. I think you can play Black Desert on Xbox. I think you can play. I don't know. I think that's one I know, but there's not like a super high amount of options. and you tell someone that they can play the Final Fantasy XIV free trial all the way up to level 70, you give them the whole spiel. I think they'll at the very least start playing and maybe discover that they like it. I think that's going to be a pretty big thing.
Okay.
I think it's a harder sell than what you think. I mean, yes, it's free shit. It's not like Fortnite free shit where it's like, yay, it's a battle royale. I can play for free. I can buy some skins and shit. Sure, why not? But
gotta get mom's credit card for them. What are they called? Bucks, something bucks.
Yeah, Fortnite bucks. I don't know.
You know, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. It's harder for them. Like, I feel like Xbox owners, a lot of Xbox owners, not all, are diehard in they're set in their ways in terms of the games they play. They already
just
play.
say they play Call of Duty, Sly. Just say.
It doesn't necessarily have to be Call of Duty. I did for a while call Xbox a shooter console, and to be honest, that's what it was for a while. But I mean, you know, Xbox, like, I will say the one good thing Xbox did to add value was the Game Pass. Like, you get a bunch of games for like one price, and that's it. And like you said, you can pretty much play it on PC. So like, even with Game Pass, even with, you know, an actual console, even with the free trial, once the free trial is over, and the fact of the matter is that they have to pay, that's it.
Sly, I have to ask you a question.
Okay.
Since you don't have much in expectation for the Xbox, all right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think will bring more players into the game?
Fall Guys.
The Oceanic Data Center?
I'm sorry.
Or Xbox?
Oceanic Data Center.
I disagree.
I think Fall Guys trumps both of those, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I honestly, I probably agree.
I think the Fall Guys collab is going to bring in some people. I think that previous collabs do really well with bringing in people. Monster Hunter might have brought in some people as well, right?
Yeah.
And so it is just the exposure. Hey, this really cool thing from an MMO is in my game now. Behemoth or Bahamut, whatever, right? Is in my game. And now I kind of have the urge to play I like Final Fantasy. Let me play it as MMO. All right. Fall Guys, you'll see white mages in there. You'll see some funny stuff happening in there. You'll be like, you know, maybe I'll go try out this game. And so,
chat being toxic. Oh, the WoW Shadowlands collab was huge.
It was very big.
It was actually probably the biggest collaboration that we had.
Yeah,
the Shadow
marketing.
collab. Yeah, Shadowbringer and Shadowlands. It was great for 14.
All you got to do for marketing is talk to another company and tell them to make some really major mistakes and see how that goes for your game.
Yeah, worked out great. That's toxic.
Well, I mean, honestly, you know, I think when Dragonflight came back, that whole situation where everyone kind of came over here was a mild benefit to WoW too, because it likely re-energized some people who played Final Fantasy XIV and wouldn't go back to WoW, but they're a little bit more accepting and they're going back to WoW now too. So there could be a possibility of that, a little bit of a rebound. Not a lot, not as much as Final Fantasy XIV got, but something.
If anything, it meant more so than anything. It meant the WoW people were now playing WoW again, which, you know, they really didn't want to for quite some time. And it's at a better retention rate of those same individuals, it seems. At least that's anecdotally how it seemed to me, you know.
Yeah.
But all the same, when that free trial update comes in 5 weeks, basically, we now pretty much know when the patch is. It's as we predicted. You know, we know when the live letter is September 23rd from TGS. It's at TGS live letter, and 10 days later it'll be patch if they follow suit, October 3rd.
Yeah. Oh, Criterion's coming up a month after that too. Yeah.
A month.
Or 2 weeks after that. Well, how long after that?
That's a week or two at most.
Week or two at most. God,
I hope it's not 2 weeks. Do you know why I hope it's not 2 weeks?
Why?
That would make it 3 days before FanFest.
Oh,
Fan
yeah.
Fest. Now, I'm not going to EU Fan Fest, but I would rather it not be such close proximity to the news and everything.
Yeah.
I'll beat it in a day anyway. I don't fucking care. Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, it'll be beaten in a day, and it'll be 8 hours of content of world race tracking, which I got to figure out. But that'll be the last bit of that until the expansion, which is a long way away now.
I think, I think chat's right. I think they're remembering correct. I think 6.51's after FanFest because they were waiting for PvP changes. Because also the season doesn't end until 0.51 either. They're doing it like kind of this like the making sure it lasts long enough kind of thing. I think you're right. I do remember them saying something like that. We'll see.
It's interesting over the 10 years how PvP has evolved too.
Boy,
what an adventure!
What an adventure! Yeah, I sure did love the fold.
Yeah, that was good.
Do you think have they introduced more PvP modes than they've deleted, or is it like even?
No, they've introduced. Yeah, I think there's more. There's more still lingering. Just some of it's inaccessible. Because you can't get into it.
Then if it's inaccessible, it's not there, Frosty. I
mean, it kind of. It'll come back, right? Some of those modes likely.
The fold, gone. The feast, 8v8 went first. 4v4 went second. We had slaughter. Slaughter's gone. The Astrologos, the first Rival Wings map, is gone. The maps that they made for the feast while the feast was out, deleted them all and replaced them with the Crystal Tower.
You can't count the individual maps.
No, yes, I can. That was bullshit. They made all these maps and then they just deleted them. That's like saying I can't count Astrologos because they introduced the other one, but they say temporarily for Astrologos, but it's been I don't know how long and it's not back.
Yeah. Well, PvP has gone in a good direction for the most part.
Has.
It's gone into a much better direction. There's lots of stuff that they tried out, and it's been an experiment for the longest time for Final Fantasy XIV. I feel like they've settled a good bit on Crystalline Conflict.
And the new map looks. I love how frequently they're doing new maps for it and putting them into rotation too.
I mean, that's awesome. I mean, they're gonna have to start taking some out of rotation at some point, I'm sure.
I don't think they have to. I think you just see them.
I would hope not.
Yeah.
I would hope not.
Or they rotate more frequently every hour instead of every 2 hours or something like that. So I think there's only more benefits. I think they see that. I think they see how much people get invigorated and like passionate about map choice. You and your fucking Cloud9, for example.
It's great, dude. Any map that is the terror to players is immediately fantastic to commentate. So I love it. I love it.
By the way, I think I told you this personally, but you did great with the recent event. The UN Brian killed it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You know, the way that we were presented was trying to be like just overall people who weren't playing PvP, people who were into PvP. Everybody could kind of enjoy that event without having to have like extensive knowledge. And I think we did a pretty good job with it.
I'd say so.
We did a lot of planning. So, and you know, some diehard people I think would want us to go a lot more in depth and in detail of everything, but it would go over the head of most of the people who are watching it because PvP in Final Fantasy XIV is very much spectator ignorant. I guess like that.
Very, yeah. You basically. I have a question. As a commentator, do you just look at the health bars and then try to figure out what happened versus looking at?
So there's a couple different things you could do, right? You could have slight predictions of who they're going to attack and everything else. Obviously. You can kind of direct that a little bit. I was controlling the camera the entire time, so I kind of let Brian take the wheel on a lot of that kind of like analytic stuff while it's going on, and try to just kind of add comments when I need it, control the camera and everything else, and kind of control the conversation moving back and forth because that's what I specialize in. And he was a lot more experienced within the game mode itself and all the deeper details of it. So when you're watching it and you're doing commentary, you're watching the mana bars. I feel weird calling it mana bars, but you watch that because that's how many potions they have, right? You got the health bars, so if they're getting low, and if they kill someone with the mana bar full, that's huge. Yeah. Right. There's lots of different things. You watch the limit break gauge. So you watch that's the best part to analyze when you're actually doing commentary.
Actual party bars, but not the characters themselves. Yeah, that's what I meant when I said health. I meant the party bars.
Yeah. It gives you a lot of details, and that's mostly what you'll track when you're trying to angle the camera in a certain way. You watch the crystal too, right? And so when you get near the end, you really can't take your eyes off
someone
the
actually
crystal.
watches it?
Yeah, at least the spectators watch it. Yeah.
You have to keep your eyes on it, because if you don't, you're watching some awesome scrimmage off to the side, and then someone loses, and you're like, "What happened?" It's all in the crystal. That's the condition. You have to make sure you keep your eyes on it.
The timer too, when you're like commenting on a skirmish, and then the game ends because the time ran out, and there was nobody. Like there was no
one on the crystal. Yeah, so near the end of the game, you put your focus mostly on the crystal. You kind of keep your. It matters where the crystal position is throughout the match overall, because it matters what the team is going to have to do and what kind of struggle they're going to have going forward afterwards. Because if it's too far in the other team's base, they have to do a lot of work to win, especially if they don't have because overtime is when you get into that really, really spicy stuff. Anyways, I could talk a while on it, because we did work pretty hard on it.
Yeah.
I'm glad we did it. I wish I could go to EU too, but they got some cool people out there doing EU, I believe. It's exciting to see that it's on stage again, because I did the Feast one in 2018 and 2019. I didn't make a guide this time that they put on stage over at the JP one, so there's not going to be any of that. I remember when you were over at JP in 2019,
I should
right?
have taken a picture of it, because
I think you did.
Did
you took a picture of my face on the screen.
That's what I did. Yes, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I couldn't remember. Yeah, because look, it's Frosty. He's here.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting my face to show up there. I thought they just wanted me to take my video files and put Japanese lettering on it, and that was it.
Yep. No, and then I looked. I was like, wait, I know that guy.
Oh yeah. The whole what's that fucking meme picture? Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah.
DiCaprio.
DiCaprio. Yeah.
I'm Leonardo DiCaprio.
DiCappa.
Sly didn't like that. Sly's like, I wish this was beer and not water after hearing that one. I wish Liquid Death was a little more literal at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
But no, it was cool, and I want to see what they do with PvP. I think they kind of got it where they like it right now. We'll see to know what really happens with the future of PvP is after FanFests are over.
Leonardo DiCupo, and he's a Moogle.
DiCupo, yeah.
Thank you, chat. Somebody needs to get on Leonardo DiCupo right now.
I'll make the character. Yeah. Yeah.
Draw it or something. I need Leonardo DiCupo.
But yeah, I think a lot of people don't think about PvP when they think Final Fantasy XIV. It's usually going to be story. It could be story, and they will focus on the raids to a point, right? But story is the biggest highlight of, I think, everything.
Yep. Other things that have evolved interestingly over the last 10 years is the console side of things, because you got to remember, we released on PS3.
Mm-hmm.
That was a leftover 1.0 promise is the only reason.
I almost did a beta on PS3. Almost. I started in Ul'dah, and then I had to go to work. Like it was literally, I got into Ul'dah, and then there was the next quest. Was like, oh fuck, I gotta go to work. That was it, and then I waited until PS4 came out.
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
Good idea.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine. I genuinely don't know how any PS3 player felt, because I can't comprehend that, having to live that experience.
I feel like Kerr had a copy of it on PlayStation 3, and it was really like, oh, this is something I do for crafting.
So
that's
the
about
PS3 experience
that.
was about equal to the Vita experience when you were remote playing, is what I'm getting.
I'm thinking so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like the Vita probably handled it better than the PS3, if I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, no one rated. To my knowledge, people didn't really rate on PlayStation 3. They just did really casual stuff on it. But there's probably a couple PS3 players out there. I will say that stigma has like carried on for a while. One of my current static mates was going for groups, and they were trying to get into a group for the new Savage tier, because we were only doing top. We were just a 3-night-a-week top group.
We've got some PS3 raiders in the chat right now saying
yeah.
They're also very upset to have to remember that they did that. So.
I'm sure they're more upset they had to do it than they are of our comments. So that's where most of the anger is being channeled, I'm sure. But when he was trying to join a group, they're like, hey, so and so something, right? I forget, it was kind of like a PC particular question, and they're like, oh, no, well, I'm on console, by the way, and they're like, oh, sorry, we aren't taking console players. I
saw a lot of that,
and it's just like, we're in PlayStation 5 days, my friend. We're kind of past the console hate for Final Fantasy 14. Some of the best players in the game play on console.
Or play on PC with controller, which at this point, there's really no functional difference between the two.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 14 has to be the best, if not one of the best, console MMOs out there that can work with controllers.
So much so that when Blade and Soul had controller support, they basically just copied the way the cross hotbar worked.
Yeah.
There's quite a few games that have gone on to copy the cross hotbar. I mean, Yoshida's even said he's glad games are just looking at it as like a template of how to make games work. Because I forgot, there was like an article, I think it was an outlet like Famitsu or 4Gamer asked, like, is there concern over people just using the cross hotbar as like their go-to? So he's like, no, I don't care. If it makes a better game, makes a better game.
Why would he be upset? Because he's like, well, I guess we shouldn't have questing systems. I guess we shouldn't have, core MMO systems in our game because other games that do it.
Yeah.
I mean, imitation is the highest form of flattery, so.
Yeah.
All anyone ever says is that's from 14, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just advertises 14 in a way too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think in that regard too, Final Fantasy 14 has really made its own ground in the MMO world. I mean, back in my day, WoW. I mean, I know 11 was out there, but it was not like 14 is in comparison in the MMO market right now. At least in the NA side, I guess. JP side may be different, but I don't remember Final Fantasy 11 being that big of an MMO when people were talking about MMOs back in the early 2000s. But you feel different, I know. Happy.
I'm just making this face because we're talking about 11 because it came up.
I need to play 11 one day.
I'll help.
Okay. I appreciate it.
I need to get back to 11 once shit dies down. I was in the middle of Wings of the Goddess. I was starting Wings of the Goddess.
Oh, Wings of the Goddess.
I just had to suffer through Ottergon. Leave me the fuck alone.
Oh, you thought Ottergon was suffering? You haven't done Wings. Yeah, then you're really nowhere in Wings of the Goddess yet, then.
I mean, to kind of go back to 14 and Final Fantasy, WoW and Final Fantasy 14 are not that far apart right now. I mean, WoW has a lot, but 14 isn't that far off from it, right?
In terms of what?
I feel like you're laughing at me, Happy.
No, I'm laughing at chat because 11's website doesn't even have SSL certificate. No way I'm playing the game.
Oh.
That's funny. That makes me laugh. Yeah, no, that's what I was laughing at. Yeah, no,
that's one thing that's never really improved. Square Enix's ability to make video game websites.
Hey, the new Mog store station's kind of okay.
I guess, but paying for your game, imagine.
I didn't say anything about that.
No, the one thing I will say the 11 website had going for it, and somebody had to tell me about this, was they had the in-game camera for specific spots.
Yeah, they shut that down though. We don't have that anymore.
Yeah. I was like, that's the one thing y'all had going for it, and y'all shut that shit down. That was interesting.
What, they had a camera of just looking in game in that server what was going on? That's a bad idea for 14.
Yeah, that would be that only works in 11 because you really can't.
Put it in Limsa. Bad. Put it in any Limsa at any time.
You know what my downtime is? Going to Limsa without waiting on parties.
Put it in the quicksand in Balmung.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, no. That would get gross real quick. Players are a lot more creative today than they were back in the day. But yeah, no, I think 14 is like, it's awesome to kind of see that it's grown in the whole MMO sphere. Just it's created a better platform overall for MMO players. Or just I mean, I don't know if that's the right word. It helped the platform of MMOs. Does that make sense? Am I saying
It made
something that
sense the
makes
first
sense?
time you said it, actually.
All right. I feel stupid sometimes when I talk, and I like it when people validate what I say. So thank you.
Well, I'm going to stop doing that then.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyways, I like that when I started Final Fantasy 14, it still felt like it was kind of like just a cool thing to try out. It was like the next 11, sort of. Like it was coming off of my thoughts of what 11 was. I didn't think it was going to be a big deal or anything else. I didn't think this was going to be a major part of my life when I started playing Final Fantasy 14 at all. I was just trying out an MMO. Man, I wasn't thinking I was going to be doing a podcast on it, doing commentary stuff for it, streaming it, maybe trying to do full time. Like none of that stuff was like even in my head. It was a trap. It was a trap, man. It got me, and I can't find my way out of it anymore. The community has locked me in, and I feel like there's just no way to get out. I don't want to get out, and I think that's part of it.
They leave the door
Stockholm
open.
syndrome.
Yeah.
Yes, the door is open, but I feel happy in my little closed door.
Yeah, Stockholm
I guess
syndrome.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You feel what?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, all my other friends left, but not me. I just got stuck.
You feel what?
Huh? What are you asking?
You feel what?
I feel. Are you asking me or Sly? I don't even remember what I was saying. Me?
Yeah, you said you feel what?
I don't know anymore. I think I was just saying I feel good. I feel great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say anything else besides that. Not happy. I wouldn't fucking say that. Stupid word. Such a stupid word. Who would make their name that?
Well, my name is Mister.
Mister. Spelled out Mister.
Only in game though.
Senor Feliz.
Yeah, I'm Senor Feliz. My name did start in Spanish before it became English, so it's correct.
Yeah. No, it's insane, and we've been here for a while, man. We have seen, and in the world of like content creation too, it has changed so much. What was it when content creation had a really rough road at the beginning of Final Fantasy 14 before I got involved, right? It was
literally
bad.
on 2.0's launch, we weren't allowed to monetize content around 14. That was in their terms of service.
Right. And they lost a lot of people over that.
No, they didn't. They fixed it like a day later.
Oh, did they? I thought they lost a whole bunch of people.
They turned that shit like within like a day or two. It was done so fast.
Okay. Maybe I was wrong with that. All right. Well, then, they slipped up there, and then it was very slow at the beginning. But again, I guess like around that time, that was the era of like Twitch growing too, right?
Yeah, we still had a bunch of. Was Own still around? I think at that point, might not have been by then. I think it was actually Owned.tv.
Oh, I don't know Own.tv.
That was the first big like mainstream. Like Justin existed, but Owned was where like every professional League of Legends player was pretty much running Owned. Like you had Dyrus, you had all the Fnatic play, like you had all the organizations in esports were basically on there. And because the League was blowing up globally, Owned blew up globally. But when the League players went to Twitch, Owned fell apart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I will say, like when it was kind of starting out, like I'd say like it was a lot more tight knit, I guess, because there weren't a lot of people in the 14 category, as opposed to now where it's just like holy shit, there's somebody like new every fucking day. But yeah, back then, I still feel like everybody knows everybody. Like,
I don't know if tight knit's the right word. I feel like, I feel like maybe just like a low population, just small amount. People knew each other, kind of stuff.
Yeah,
everyone was so fucking friendly. It was so open, right?
It's the way you say that. Yeah. Everybody's like so fucking friendly.
Because it was weird to me as someone who didn't make content creation and was starting up a podcast, didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and I would just ask this person, be like, "This guy has a lot of people watching him. Why would he respond to me?" And then they just respond to you, and they're like, "Well, now I got to fucking make a podcast. I don't know what I'm doing. I got to bring this guy on and ask him questions and figure it out."
You're welcome.
But people didn't say no.
Wow.
Well, I know because he came to me and asked me a bunch of things early. I'm just referring to our earliest conversations.
Yeah, Jesus, dude. I remember bringing Miz on. I remember bringing Zeno on. I remember bringing a lot of people onto the show, and people were just open to it. I remember really far before Discord started to pick up, I would have to create characters on servers and hunt people down. Try to like get messages. I'll message people in their FC. I'd be like, "Hey, when this person logs on, can you tell them I'm looking to see if they could come on the podcast?"
It's still that hard today.
Is it?
It can be.
Sometimes it is, yeah.
It can be. For some people, it can be. Yeah.
Yeah. But the Final Fantasy 14, I guess, overall community back then was pretty friendly, nice overall, and it hasn't really changed too much, but it's just big. It's just way bigger than what it was before. There's been a ton of growth, and I think people are still pretty open and friendly. It's probably harder to make a podcast now than when I made a podcast, and when you started. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong, but like I had nothing when I started Mog Talk. I had nothing. I had a few FC members who I was like, "Hey, can you come on and let's just talk? I want to talk about the patches coming up." And then I had him. My Stag member came on, and we talked about Gold Saucer. So, I mean, it was crazy, and it just started growing exponentially from there. But there's a lot of podcasts now. There's just not one or two, right? You both froze at the exact same time. I thought my internet disconnected, by the way. I don't know. But there's tons. And so I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just trying to talk like content creation wise, Final Fantasy 14, 10 years. It's unreal.
It's a good topic. It's a good topic.
I mean, a lot of other games should have just dissolved and went away. Here, it's constant growth.
Yeah,
I guess you go ahead, Abs.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the number of people doing it is a growth, but I think that at least on the live streaming portion of side, it's been like this for a very long time. Nothing wrong with that. It's just more people are playing than are watching people play. That's all that is.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's that, and combined with a few other things, the fact that the devs / the community team are really good, or have been really good in the past, working with content creators. So it kind of lit a fire under our asses to where we should do more content in the game, like play the fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that in itself could have attracted more people. I mean, the game itself, the free trial, the meme, yada, 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 that attracts people all the time. But, I think that helped to bring more people to the table. Now that it's a lot of people, there are a lot of people to consider when you're talking about content creation within 14. Like, it's grown. It's, like, again, like, I'm still learning of new people to this day. Like,
yeah, I check the directory out every once in a while, and I see people. I'm like, at the top of the directory, I have no clue who they fucking are.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll be honest, I just don't know who half the people are on there. And I used to know every single person that was there, but that has changed. And they don't always stay in Final Fantasy 14 either, right? That they kind of pop up, and you're like, well, this guy has like 300-400 people watching him. But it's, it usually says first time Final Fantasy 14 main story quest player.
And I've had this conversation. Conversation with a few people, like, because the thing about it is, and some of y'all in the community won't like this, and I don't give a fuck. We, and I say we, I mean the Final Fantasy 14 community, we're open to new people. We are very, very open to new people. We love to see new people come into our game. But a lot of the community, the community loves is to help. They love to help. And then, like, you have a lot of people who love the lore, who love the story, who love the reactions to the story.
Mm-hmm.
And then, once that certain content creator is done with story, and they are caught up to where you are, they're not new anymore. They're not a sprout. So what do? Move on to the next new person. And the cycle repeats. And I feel like that's one aspect we could kind of.
I don't think so. I don't think that's a community thing to fix. I don't think that has anything. So, like, when people are, oh, sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I don't.
No, go ahead. I want to hear what you.
I mean, because there are a lot of people who watch Twitch and watch streams, and they're just emotional vampires, right? I mean, that's okay. They're proud of it. They want to go and see them go through the very first time and just relive this thing they can't relive themselves. They see someone else reliving it, and they get all that energy. They get all the stuff that they love to see again. If that's not there anymore, the content creator is taking that, right? They're taking that as part of, like, this is helping me become a Final Fantasy 14 streamer at the moment, or be a streamer, or help me. They have to decide what their content's going to be like, and if you're going to make content that attracts whatever the people who want to watch Final Fantasy 14 it wants to see. And there is some level of, like, tribalism and weird stuff that kind of happens in this Twitch directory and things like that every once in a while. But I do think when we're talking about that whole buildup of a new person coming in and they're making content about the experience of going through the main story quest, that doesn't live forever, and it's up to them to decide what their next steps are, and if that's going to be something that the people who were watching them is still going to want to watch.
And see, the thing about it is, people like content creators who finish, like, they'll still continue, like, they'll still keep with it because they fell in love with this game.
Yeah,
it's just that the support that was there during their journey kind of trickled down afterwards.
The raid viewership population and the main story quest population has a little bit of an overlap, but it's not like a huge amount of overlap, right? So when you go to in-game raiding, in-game content, everything else, that doesn't completely overlap with the people who will just watch main story and relive the main story again.
And I'm glad I did what I did for my birthday, which is, like, bring, like, a bunch of people on, and, like, some people who are, who've been a part of the 14 community for years, and a lot of new people, because I wanted, like, different perspectives. And one question I asked in particular, and this went to the raiders, the ones who primarily focused on raid, like, does it get stale? How the fuck can y'all do, like, more than likely, y'all, I'm talking about when there's content lulls, there's nothing to do. You are probably like triple legend, yada yada yada. You've cleared.
It's Penta now. Penta, yeah.
Penta now.
That's fine. Yeah.
You've cleared. You've cleared raid. You cleared savage, but you're still doing savage. You're still doing savage runs. How does it not get stale? And they're like, no, that shit does get stale. Like, a lot of them say it, like, dead ass to my face. I'm like, okay, so it's not just me, right? No, it's not. Like, it does get stale.
Yeah. I will say this as, someone who Party Finder is my current content at the moment, right? Yeah. Rating is kind of what I do on my channel. And that changed. It was, Eureka Orthos blind for like 2 months. And then it switched over to Party Finder and everything else, and then of course the World Race and Mog Talk and all other stuff. That's part of it. But my daily content is I'm in Party Finder, and I luckily have a huge backlog of leveling and learning jobs, that will get me into Party Finder, and then learning these fights on these different jobs that will help extend that and will seem interesting to me. DPS will get old because you take the exact same actions no matter what. Every single time, there's some level of variation. You could put a cooldown somewhere else or something. You're trying to watch when the dancer is going to do their buffs or when someone's going to do their buffs so you can time your stuff. There's things you could do to optimize, but that does get old, but you stay in that same system the entire time.
Side note, we can blame the 2-minute meta for this right now, but
yes,
we need to get rid of
100%.
that shit. Yeah, but
Go ahead. There is a lot of stuff that you could do to make it seem interesting for a while, but eventually you hit a cap. And a lot of these people, I think content creators have hit that cap 100%. I haven't hit it with just healing in general because I feel like healing Party Finder is the most random bullshit in the game that you can find. And so I love that, and it doesn't seem stale to me. I have talked to, I think, Siren. He told me it doesn't get old. He doesn't get burned out. But other people do get burned out, right? Some people are just wired in a way that they're just like, whatever, I can just do this forever. I cannot do DPS in Party Finder forever and raid forever and do that. I can probably heal for a very long time, but eventually I do want to change it up, right, and go into other content and everything else.
right.
But there is a lot of people who watch Twitch, and all they want to see is people fuck up in Party Finder.
Yeah,
and that's
100%.
their content. That's what they want in the background, and they're completely content with it. And that doesn't get old. Just seeing nonsense of Party Finder, and it's weird, when we like dive deeper into that whole conversation, because then we talk about like broadcasting people making mistakes and what that means, right? Does it matter? Should I be worried about someone getting upset that I'm showing that they're messing up and that they had a bad day and they're saying really stupid stuff and all that stuff's on blast right now? And should that be a bad thing? That's a pretty big conversation overall. But in general, my mindset's always going to be temporary judgment is always allowed. There's nothing you can do about it. But you have to remember it's temporary. And that stuff moves on, and you have to get past it, and everyone needs to accept that bad shit happens and goes away. But anyways, huge conversation. Go ahead. What'd you say?
Good luck with that.
Absolutely, good luck with that.
Okay.
Yeah, good luck getting them to understand that.
Yeah.
I've seen people in chats blacklist people in Party like on because they're watching streams.
Off gate.
Yeah. Blacklisting is not a good idea for me because it means less groups I can join. But I can understand the fact that some people are just like, I don't like the way that guy wrote his sentence. Blacklist. I don't like the guy. He joined, and the way he said hi was a little bit weird. Blacklist.
He said hi with three eyes. I already know I don't like this person.
Yeah. He said meowdy. Blacklist. Just all of this stuff. And it's so, a lot of people are very trigger happy with that. But then they're going to find that they don't have a lot of groups in Party Finder and they can't play any. So, I don't know.
That's often one criticism over the last 10 years that I've seen is how easy it is to set and forget people who you don't want to play with. That is because of old heads. What I mean by that is in old MMOs, you really couldn't set and forget people because they made up a majority of the portion of people who were doing the thing you wanted to do. So if you were a piece of shit, everybody knew. And nobody would play with you, and you had no options except for to completely change your character name and appearance and start or like do something to become unrecognizable again.
Player reputation was important, all right? But when you play and you get with a completely different random amount of people that you have no clue who you are and they're not going to look it up or anything else, then it doesn't matter to you as much. I will say there are people who have reputations. And their players, if they show up and I join a party, they're like, "Oh, it's that guy," and I'm like, "Oh, what does that mean?" So people still do carry that a little bit in the higher end game of like raiding and everything, but it's not as much as it was.
Man, the worst thing is when you're doing PF when you're streaming, when you get someone in a group who's clearly just not playing well, and you leave that group. Only for them to join the very next group.
Join the next group that you did. Yeah.
I've had some really funny conversations. I've seen some funny conversations. It's like I would go into a group and then someone would join and then we do a pool or two and then someone will just say something about another player messing up, and then that person will be like, I was in the last group you were, and you couldn't even do this mechanic like 10 times in a row. You don't have any right to talk. And they just like fucking go off, man. It's just like all these past experiences follow you from group to group sometimes, if you raid at the exact same time on the same servers, right? And I do think it's kind of interesting to see that. And I do think there are like actions people take that 100% I would be happy blacklisting. I'm never like we were doing a party the other day. It was for 11 or something. We queued in, and it was a clear party. I was just trying to help them clear. And as soon as we queued in, person left the party. All they wanted to do was use that party to get that turn unlocked for him. I blacklisted him. I'm like, that guy, I don't want to ever see that guy again. He genuinely doesn't care about wasting all these people's time that are waiting for a healer to show up, and they just take advantage of that situation so they can unlock it for their static or whatever. But anyways, sorry, completely different rant. I could talk about Party Finder experiences for the rest of my life.
I'm sure you could.
Yeah.
You've had a lot. It's funny because your experience at PF is only very recent. You don't have the 10 years of dealing with it nearly as much as to the capacity you do now.
Yeah. This is like the most, getting subs and everything for static that I used to manage back in the day. Very casual static. Of course, they let me Paladin and Heaven's Ward, right? It's a very casual group, obviously. But and I did Party Finder a bit. I did Party Finder not as much as I'm doing it right now, but all throughout Shadowbringers, I did a Party Finder the entire tier. And so I did that. I just didn't play as much. So yeah, I'm really feeling all the different memes. Like when people would say, "Hey, just open melee up," just open you don't have to have 2 melees for a group. I'm like, I guess there's some dumb groups out there that do that every once in a while where they lock it down and we're only 2 melees. There are people who would adamantly say 2 melees is the right choice for Party Finder groups, and you can't do anything else.
It's worse than that, but yeah, that's an example.
That's an example. Like literally, there are people who are just stuck in these very ignorant mindsets that I thought was just a joke, maybe a bad experience once.
I know one bad experience that somebody had that carried for them for a very long time. So in Stormblood, we got Samurai, obviously. Sorry, I dropped something. We got Samurai.
Oh boy.
And
even
it was generally accepted that Samurai wasn't really that bad. It wasn't like there was no great reason to take it, and they needed to play well, or it kind of wasn't good for the group, but whatever, One person said specifically, I was like, why did you lock Samurai out? Because it was after Samurai had been buffed a bunch too. So I was like, oh, that's really weird. It's not like it's like launch Samurai or anything. And they said, there's too many fucking weebs who play that job. I'm locking it. Now, what that translates to is it's a very popular job. So a lot of people who play it aren't that good at it.
Yeah.
But what he said in my PF chat was too many fucking weebs play that job. So I'm locking.
Yeah. Yep. You run into all kinds. And again, people can put Party Finders up and they can make whatever decisions they want. They can literally do whatever. But there is a very logical way to go about progressing through content in Party Finder. And some people let their bias kind of hinder themselves and the other people in the group with them.
Man, anyway. That guy's an asshole, but he's not wrong. Thank you, chat.
But yeah, I guess like outside of like the last decade with content creation, PvE has fucking evolved so much too in this game that is literally a spectator sport now, which is weird. Right? Ultimates are absolutely.
I mean, you're mainly responsible for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Unfortunately, not in the plans. It just happened. It just happened. I like watching it, and I wanted to track it in more detail that was available, so I put it on a spreadsheet. That was it. It became a whole thing. And I don't, eventually, you know what? I'm going to start taking credit for that. Thanks, Sly. I'm
You're
going
the
to take
world
credit
race
for
guy.
Ultimate's
It's in your Twitter name.
I'm going to take credit.
Twitter name.
I'm going to take credit for Ultimates existing in the game. Let's just go that far now. Let's just take it that whole step further.
The ultimate guy.
Slow down. Calm down. Calm down.
People were so competitive.
The ultimate
they
guy.
wanted to make harder content for people to watch a race happen on, and so Ultimates exists.
I genuinely, I have to ask, and this is also to chat. How can you watch Top and DSR that much? That I did it for fucking 15 days. I would never in my life watch somebody do that 12 to 16 hours a day for 15 days.
It's during the race, it's a completely different environment than seeing like a group progress through it. But I mean, it's always just seeing the progression happen and seeing that person kind of get to it, right? I mean, that's it. You just want to see, the attempt at progression. Sorry, that would be the right answer.
I'm sorry to cut you off. There's just the one comment. We bored.
I mean, it's true.
When I'm bored, so funny thing about content creation in 14, and I think this makes me worse at it. I never watch 14 content ever.
That's fair.
I literally, every time like Joe Cat puts out a new video and someone's like, have you seen it? I was like, I literally don't watch anything. Like, I refuse. It's the last thing I want to do with my spare time. Like, I'll go into people's streams who are playing it. I don't give a fuck what they're doing. I'm just checking on the person.
Yeah, just hang out and talk to them. And I mean, honestly, I think that's how a lot of people may feel. Not exactly to that degree. There is the whole I want to see if they succeed. I want to see, but they all want to see that person succeed. They want to see that person. They want to talk to that person, and they just want to be in that whole. The weirdest thing to me about doing full-time content creation is literally consistent people and little communities forming in that as well, where people from the stream interact with each other and talk to each other on a daily basis. That's insane to me. And I think that's what drives a lot of content creators forward too, is just those communities that start to form there too. And I wouldn't be doing this without them. I think that's 100% true. Without the handful of consistent people who always show up and just want to be there because you're streaming, not because of exactly what's on the screen at the time. But I think that builds up a lot. And then a lot of people, again, going back to the rating part, I'm assuming at some point people are going to be like, is he going to do it when I get to the end of top, right? And that's going to be like the highlight of that. And that's just the anticipation of pulling 5 billion times until we get lucky with RNG that people get the mechanics they know and they can do it.
How many polls have you done of top? Do you know?
Oh, I'm probably past 2,000, 3,000. I don't know. I haven't been tracking it. I don't use any tools that tell me. All right.
Somebody does.
I'm sure somebody does. I know at least one person in chat probably has that accurate information. 3,300
plus.
That sounds about right.
Oh my god.
And we're at early P5. Early P5. So I mean that's there too. But it's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Some people enjoy watching that stuff just because they don't have access to it, and that might be one of the reasons why. But I can't tell you.
They're living vicariously through you.
I can't watch a lot of Final Fantasy 14 content either. Yeah, it's saying that vicariously through me, I vicariously watch other streamers that bike around Japan because I can do it. All right.
Sea Dog VA.
No.
I literally only watch streams based on vibe. Like I don't give a fuck what's being played. It's it's hilarious because I cannot vibe with a lot of people that I'm friends with on their stream, so I can only like tune in briefly. Just because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be there for this person. I'm gonna show up for a little bit. I'm gonna hang out for a little bit, but I can't vibe. I have to go do something else like at some point. And then when it's like YouTube, bro, on YouTube, I'm watching Dr. Mike and like Legal Eagle half the time. I don't fucking watch anything like video game related on YouTube at all. Occasionally, something comes across that I watch that's 14 related. Almost
It's
never,
rare.
though. It's very rare. I could just do reacts on it if I really wanted to. I just don't want to.
Reacts work well. They work really well. They do. I should react more. I should actually do more YouTube content where I'm actually uploading my episodes. But outside of that, I need to get a lot better on that. That's the hard thing, is balancing all this stuff too. And you have way more experience, Mike, than I do.
I can't remember what the thing. Oh yeah, you were like, I don't know how you do it. And I was like, well, I'm single. I don't have a child, and I've been doing it for about 10 years now. And you're like, you're right. I did it all wrong.
Yeah, I did. I completely. I'm doing it wrong. But it's insane. It's insane. There's so much to do in the back end of everything that, like, it's not just like, I used to laugh at the fact that some streamers would turn on and they do like, oh, well, I did my 3 hours of stream, and they do it a few times a week, and I'd be like, oh, wow, okay. And then other streamers are like, talk about, oh, well, I stream like 9-8 hours a day and everything. I'm like, well, you're probably not doing anything else. These other guys are probably doing a ton of shit otherwise. And that's the truth. There is so much shit that happens off stream that has to be managed. And when you're streaming, you're always on. And I think that's something that a lot of people who don't stream don't realize too, is that when you're working at a day job, you're usually not working 8 hours straight. You're working for 30 minutes. You take a few minutes, look at your phone, relax a bit, then you go back, work a little bit more.
Yeah, if you're in IT,
I mean, it depends on the job, but
right.
Yeah. But a lot of times that's how the situation goes. Being on for 6 hours straight is, you get done with it, you feel exhausted.
I go to the gym right afterwards because I need to take out my pent out aggression on chat.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's it, chat. I'm going to punching bag. Ah.
Yeah, I gotta say I love it though. I literally, I think this is the proper mental health direction for me, profession wise.
That
even
is
though sometimes
the most opposite thing I think anyone would have ever said.
Well, I mean,
I don't know when the last time someone said I stream for my mental health.
Straight up copium.
That is
straight up copium.
Straight the other way, but as most people say. I know what you mean, because I think about if I was doing something else for a living that I didn't love doing, how my mental health might be in that scenario. But then I also think about what I am doing, and I go, man, I sometimes don't know if it would be any different. I think it would just be different wavelengths.
The financial aspect is what causes a lot of the negative mental health energy for me. But outside of that, the going somewhere and working somewhere where someone doesn't really give a shit about you, just what you can produce to make them look good so they can go to the next step, and every once in a while you get a bone, right? And it does not remotely appeal. And when you're doing that, like when I was doing what I was doing, nothing I created meant shit to me. This kind of means something to me, so it's a different situation. And so I want to. That's why I've been continuing on, and I've been happy where I'm at. But the financial part is the stressful part. I don't think that changes ever, because you're in control of it in a way, right? It's only actions you make will produce any financial outcome.
Speaking of which, chat, don't forget this month is Subtember on Twitch.
It's Subtember. You guys should sub right now.
Streamers. Well, if they sub right now, it's only to me.
Yeah, do it. Get yours. Get yours right now.
All right, fine. I'll get mine. I was trying to do
get yours right now.
I was gonna be like, you get all your favorite streamers. Hey, if you have a tier 1 sub, you can upgrade it to 3 months or 6 months. It'll be 25% off, 30% off. And even if you don't have those, if you're Prime, you can go to tier 1, 2, or 3. If you're tier 1, 2, or 3, you can go to 3 or 6 months. Get the discount, gifted subs. You get help Sly. He's crying. Just tears from your eyes, just staring.
And this is actually a huge month for a lot of streamers. If you like, this is probably one of the most important Septembers, I think, for me particularly. Like, huge for me. I'm sure it's huge for a lot of other people who don't have the partner premium or whatever with Twitch, who are going for the partner plus, which I'm going for partner plus right now too. And so, like, all of those subs, like the increase that you would have from this month would probably carry a little bit going forward.
That's why you
and
get
so,
the 3 and 6 months, because those guarantee, if they're doing
Yeah.
a 3 or 6 month at a time, it guarantees commitment for the time that you want.
Yeah, don't do the 6 months. I don't give. You guys can if
6
you want
months is
3 month follow care, but you can do 6 months.
Let me put it this way: if they do the six months for 30% off, and you were partner plus at the time, then you would be making exactly the amount their sub costs.
Oh, I guess that's true. Yeah, that'd be like an amazing. Like if you went ahead and did that, it
Which means
literally just translates pure support.
3 months out of that, you would be earning exactly their cost.
We're shilling pretty hard right now for a second, but yeah, it is. It's literally. Some people might not realize it, but it's a huge deal right now. And so
dude, I'm still seeing Sly smile. He stopped doing it, but I'm still seeing. Like I look down, I'm like replacing his image in my head.
yeah.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I mean, 10 years of doing this stuff, man.
Let me tell you.
I mean, you have happy if I go to like anyone with content creation wise, you have the most experience, I think, out of almost everybody in the Final Fantasy 14 community, content creation wise.
I'm old.
You know, there's a lot of people like Milo. I have no clue what Milo's doing anymore.
Oh, he's DJing.
Is he DJing?
Yep, he does live sets over in Japan.
He has fucking his life has been a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm. I've kept up with him very well.
Have you? That's awesome. Like I don't even know how to.
Instagram.
You just message him. You call him.
Instagram.
What's up, Milo?
Genuinely.
Okay.
That's where I talk to him, is on Instagram.
Oh, Instagram. Okay, I don't have Instagram, so
I literally I don't even use it. That's the only way I know how to reach him.
Yeah. I'm glad he's doing well then. I miss that dude. And yeah, there's just been we've seen people come and go and everything else, and it's been a weird
Oh, I know.
weird yeah.
I've seen it all.
Yeah.
I am all seeing. All knowing.
And you know what's funny? I have people that come to the channel and they're like, I just started like a couple of years ago, and I'm like, man, you're a baby. That doesn't feel right. That doesn't feel right. But there's a lot of new players in Final Fantasy 14 that haven't been around, and we feel like old people when we talk about Heavensward and Stormblood and everything else.
My favorite is between Stormblood and Shadowbringers, with people calling Shadowbringers Stormbringers and Shadowblood.
Yeah. It's easy to mess up. That's fair.
We need another SB. We need SB3. Maybe 8.0.
What do we got now? Dawn Trail?
Dawn Trail.
DT.
We got
Yeah.
End Trail and Dawn Walker.
Yeah. What are we going to I mean, what are we gonna make fun of with this one? Is there anything that we can make fun of with the name or anything? I don't know.
No, not with the name. I saw somebody call the new class Orlando Bloom, but that's about it.
Could be. The taco expansion.
I could love a taco right now.
Not as much as Grahatia, apparently.
Oh yeah, DT is these tacos.
These tacos? I'm sorry, dude. I saw.
At least it's not DN. If they ever make an expansion that's DN, it's fucking dunzo.
Yeah. But I mean, like, this game, the other thing is this game's going to be around for so long. I mean, we can see how long 11's been around as, like, a precursor to how long they would extend 14. But, like, it's... Yoshida said that he's going to be here forever. So how does that make you feel to know if we stay content creators for Final Fantasy 14, we always have Yoshida here? He's not going anywhere.
I'm just here. I just do what I like. Yeah. That's all.
Okay. I mean, if
I want
Yoshida
him to do his
left,
best for him. If he left, I wouldn't even be that worried about it at this point with the way the dev team is. If you're ever wondering about the dev team, don't forget part of the Rising is you can read stuff from all the dev team. All the letters in the letter forest are from the dev team. Soken's one was you could tell which one is Soken and which one is Koji in a heartbeat. Not just from what the titles are, but what they're writing.
Actually, you know what? I didn't read any of the letters from that.
All the letters you probably don't know most of the devs, like, because it's like, you know, like the guy who's in charge of minions, and, you know, it's like But they still wrote something for you. Like, we know the people who they put on stage by name. You know, we know Ishikawa and Soken and Koji. Like, we know the ones that are frequently on stage.
Right.
But they're
Lord
there.
of
They're very
Verminion
nice
Dev.
messages. What happened?
Got him in there. Lord of Verminion Dev. Lord of Verminion.
That guy does not have a job anymore. I mean, am I wrong?
Well,
You're
happy.
not wrong.
What else?
Oh man,
The 10-year anniversary seems very important and very big for you.
What happened?
Well, 10-year anniversary. You know, what do you think of when you think Final Fantasy 14 10 years? What are things that you reminisce on and think about?
I wish I could redo the Leviathan guide and the Garuda guide.
Leviathan and Garuda deck? Did you say
guide?
Gun?
Guide.
Guide? Oh, okay. Past content you created.
Those two in particular.
No one watches it now, anyways. You don't got to worry about it, right?
You think that, but I could find new comment once in a while.
It is funny. Every once in a while, someone does comment on like a really old video, and you're like, "Why are you even worried about the?"
Yeah,
patch
no,
notes
it's like this is entirely wrong. It's like, did you look at the upload date?
It's insane. It's rare, but it does happen for some of the videos.
Oh no, it absolutely happens. Do you know sometimes I get people go to some of my guides that are still correct and say they're not? And I know two in particular: Amber Encased Vialkins for the Heavensward relic, the ones where you would go out to the leave quests and open the chests. You'd like burn through all your leave quests. Yeah, people say that doesn't work anymore. 100% still does. And Eureka Pagos light farming on the wolves with the fate, with the sinking down on the fate. I know that still works. I also did that not too long ago. But I get occasionally comments say this doesn't work anymore. It's like they killed one wolf and it didn't give them light. And they were like, and that's it. It didn't work.
So when you think of 10 years, you're thinking of past mistakes and things you would want to correct.
Yeah. That's the first thing. Obviously you always want to take in the good, but you always think how dumb you were too.
Oh yeah.
I think that's just generally in life. You're like, man, that's why we have a joke. I always yell at past haps. I say, fuck that guy. Whenever I'm like clipping a highlight for like YouTube, I'm just like, shut up, Happy. And they're like, stop yelling at past haps. Like, no, we fucking hate that guy. All right. Fuck him. He made this a problem for me now. Now I have to listen to my own voice because of him.
You know, I mostly do that. I can't watch my podcast mostly. I don't know how anyone does. But I did go back and watch the commentary for FanFest, and I didn't feel horrible watching it. You know, I felt okay. I thought it was after I was done, I was like, I bet it should. I'm just going to cringe completely on this the entire time. But it wasn't so bad. You know, I think we've all become better creators in some way. I'm sure if I go back and I look at some of the old episodes, I am going to see some pretty bad cringe things that I don't want to re-experience. I've had people on my show that I don't want to remember I had them on my show.
Sorry.
Happy it's not you, but yeah.
That's what someone who's trying to be nice would say.
I've had people on my show that have completely disappeared after revelations about them. You know, it's just what it is. And I think being in a community, and that's the thing, is that you're going to be interacting with so many people, and most people turn out great, but every once in a while, someone's not. That's the nature of dealing with over 200 different guests on the show.
Yeah, I sometimes forget you're on your own show.
Yeah, that I'm on my show? Yeah, that's true. Because some guests just go ahead and take over the show. And they just keep talking, and they won't stop. And I'm okay with it, because it's easy for me.
It's okay. You can say Zeno's name.
Yeah.
Arthur's Zeno.
Arthur's Zeno.
Yeah. They both do a really good job of that. So it's funny when I would have anyone talking about lore on the show. Those conversations will get going, and every once in a while I'll try to put my input, and everyone's like, Frosty, why did you even talk? we were so content with just the 2 or 3 whoever was talking, right? Your input is crap, and you are bringing down the show by your presence. And I'm like, okay.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy.
I
on
literally
your soul.
just saw that GIF on Twitter on my other monitor because IGN gave the One Piece adaptation a lower score than Death Note, and somebody said that about their review.
I watched One Piece, and I wasn't angry afterwards. It was goofy and stupid. I've never watched a One Piece anime series, but I can see anyone watching that being like, "Wow, this is
IGN's
horrible."
biggest criticism about the One Piece adaptation was that it follows the manga too closely.
Yeah, no, that would make sense. It feels a little awkward.
That's a big water. That's a big too much water review. 7 out of 10 too much water. It's 6 out of 10 too much like the manga.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know anything about One Piece, but I know that's a dumb thing to say.
Yeah, it is very goofy and stupid. And if it was on
Goofy's
its
from
own,
Disney. This is One Piece.
Huh? Disney what?
Sly didn't like that.
He made a dad joke.
Oh, okay. All right, I got you.
Yeah, the Kingdom Hearts character, Goofy, right? Yeah.
Oh, Kingdom Hearts character?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do people still play that game? People still care about that game?
Yes, religiously.
Are we still waiting on another one? Isn't there
Sure
another
are.
one coming out?
Yep.
Isn't there like 5 million splintered versions of that game that you have to play in order to understand anything of it?
Including mobile games that no longer exist.
Interesting. That's all right. That's all right. I mean, Nier does kind of the same thing anyways, too, and everybody loves Nier, too. So you have to watch, like, stage plays to understand some of the stuff that's going on.
You have to play the Rainbow Six collaboration.
All right. Well, on that note, you want to remake videos. Sly, is there anything you are looking at past Sly and you're like, man, fuck that guy?
Or I like that guy. That works. You don't have to be like me, like a cynical bastard.
I believe at our core we're all cynical about something. There are some things, yeah. But like really, what I think about when I kind of sum up these 10 years is just, being a part of Final Fantasy. Like I just think there was a decision I made to try this game, and Haps I would say you're 75% responsible.
I thought you were going to say I was 75 years old.
I watched a Mr. Happy video. I'm like, you know what? This might be. I'll give this a shot, and here I am. So everybody, you can blame Happy for me being here right now, I guess.
You're my boy, Blue.
But it's just. Thank you, sir. Honestly, it's just all the people I've met along the way. Some who, like you said, are here, Frosty. Some who aren't here for whatever reason, and just from where I started to where I am now, it still kind of shocks me. Like and I tell people all the time, I'm fucking nobody. I'm just a dude who drinks on stream and plays video games. That's it. And Final Fantasy happens to be a game I like. And I'm here. So here I am. And I get to talk about it. Mm-hmm. And play it and go places and see all of you. So I really think that's the biggest thing to kind of highlight for me is just the meeting the community, getting to know the community, getting, I wouldn't be where I am without the community. So that's my biggest thing.
Well, one thing that has certainly changed for the not so better in the last 10 years, and something I was planning on bringing up in the show, and I feel like your sentiment there goes over well. We recently lost someone who's been around for the last 10 years.
Yes.
Yeah. It's been weighing.
That. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it's been weighing pretty heavily on me. that. Yeah. So for those who may be watching over on YouTube, probably a lot less aware because this is mostly on the Twitch side of things. Pukajutsu was a member of the Final Fantasy XIV community who has been around for pretty much the entire time. They've only been on State of the Realm a single time. And that one time, I will never forget. We did a team-based Air Zivia. And Pook was on Sly's team. And Sly,
No.
Wait.
No, I had he was on your team?
No, I could have swore that Pook hard carried you. He hard carried the whole Air Zivia. He knew
he hard carried you.
He knew how to name all the weapons from all the dungeons from all of A Realm Reborn.
I remember that episode. I had a Adagio.
Yes. Okay, you're right. You did have a Adagio. I thought I had a Adagio.
No.
That's Frosty heard that name and went back. Yeah.
That's ancient Mog Talk. Yeah.
That's ancient. Well, yeah, that was the Mog Talk. Yeah, it was Team Salt versus Team Sugar. That was our team names for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we never really had him on much of anything else, but he was always a massive presence on the Twitch side of things in terms of supporting people and just being an ultra positive person. And unfortunately, they passed due to complications while they were in the hospital less than a week ago at this point. And, it's been tough, but, that's someone we miss. That's someone that's really don't want to lose, 10 years into everything because they've been around since the beginning.
It's super rough to talk about and try to understand and try to make it through. Pook was huge. He was one of the best people that I worked with as a content creator. He helped with World Race. He even did a lot of the tech work and helped with a lot of stuff behind the scenes. He helped a lot of stuff with moderation. He helped a lot of stuff, even commentary and just suggestions and building. Just a positive guy overall talking to. I've had him on the show for Mog Talk too. And he was nothing but positive. And I think it's difficult for me. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but he's one of the first people I knew in the Final Fantasy XIV community that we have lost in a way that was very unexpected. Right. I don't know, because there's times in the community where I've had major events in my life and everything, and I had to kind of step back. So I don't have a full history of it. But right now, he's who I'm thinking about. And I haven't had to deal with that particular situation in Final Fantasy XIV community before. I don't think we've lost anyone like Pook. Have we? At least in the streaming side? Because, back in the day, Dream Team, I believe, right? He's been here since like the beginning, and he's always been positive. Worked with Aethernet, did a lot of stuff with them as well, and I think a lot of people in the community just are baffled because we don't know how to handle it, and it's not something that's very easy to handle. Death is hard, really, really hard, especially when it's someone that you know. And so I don't know. I was, when we were talking about it earlier, I was like, I don't know when this is the right time to bring it up, but I'm glad you brought it up. Because he in the last 10 years, Pook's been a major part of it. I still remember the penis podcast very well.
Is that when he brought, did he bring the dick lollipops?
I can't remember if he brought dick lollipops or not. I just know that he made a podcast called Penis.
Yeah, because Bag of Dicks.
I was on his penis.
Yeah, on his penis. Yeah, because one of his favorite snacks was it was just a bag of dicks. It's candy.
Yeah. He had a great personality overall. He was, he could joke around with all of us very easily. Even though he was like a nice, very community-friendly guy, he was an adult too who had some pretty funny things to say. And I don't know. I'm going to go and do the walk tomorrow. I know they're doing a lot of walks on a lot of servers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, thank you so much for bringing that up because I put it out on Twitter. Again, a huge shout out to Dio, one of Pook's community members, really close to Pook. All the info, Dio organized it and everything. You can find all the info here. I know probably there are others going on, but this one's the one Dio planned out, and I just like, Dio, do you need me to put the word out? And that's what I did. So be sure to get that link in chat. Look, all these servers that will be meeting up is in that little mini trailer. The meetup will start at
1
the
p.m.
gathering
Eastern.
will start at 1 p.m. Eastern, and then we'll start the walk at 2. And we're starting from Blackbrush Station on each of the individual servers listed. So again, definitely give that a look. If you we're all doing it in AR ponies, but whatever you can. And of course, Pook was a huge lover of Power Rangers. So if you did get the Moonfire Fair outfit, dye it in any color you like, and join us.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and the community has lost people too. It's just that
Yes,
Pook is someone you really feel it for sure when you know them and you've talked to them every single day, or not every single day, but even just like throughout the last 10 years, you've had plenty of conversations with them, right? And they're a friend, and it just reminds us how close we are to a lot of people and how easy it is to kind of like go like little bouts of time without talking to people, but they're still extremely important to us. Because I didn't talk to Pook. I guess there've been months or breaks or something when I'm dealing with stuff in my life and everything else, and then we all get back together for the World Race, or we all get back together for anything else, and then we have our conversations and everything else. But he was still very close to me and very important. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the proper way to handle it is, and just probably understand most of the streamers and most other people don't know what the proper way to handle it is. And everybody kind of deals with it differently too.
Yep. That's about the only way you can. But yeah, I'll be hopping on 14 for that tomorrow.
No.
So I'll be. I got to figure out what server I'm going to. But
yeah.
Sargatanis.
Yeah, that's probably the right choice for me. That's my OG server.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, with that, I mean, there's still. It's hard to go from that topic to another topic, to be honest with you. But
yeah, we're at end time anyway, so it's probably
the
segue off.
Yeah.
So,
but hopefully, everything. Just sorry, like with him, it will still like his effect on a lot of us and a lot of things that happen within the community will absolutely carry on, especially within the World Race, especially within other things. There's some core bones in there. That he'll always be a reason why they exist. So,
Yep, sure will be, and we'll carry on. He had the first 10 years. We'll carry him through the next 10.
Yeah.
With that, we can definitely not go to another topic. I know I can. So
yeah,
no,
I'm ready to sign off for the day. On that note.
Okay.
So thank you, Frosty, for joining us and taking over a large portion of the show to complain about the Party Finder. Appreciate it.
Of course. Anytime you want me to complain about party, not even complain, just
observe.
Explain the experience.
Explain your observations. Yeah. Relate those experiences as well. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's good to have you on. Hopefully, it won't be another year before I have you on again.
I'm a lot more free right now. I don't know how long that'll last, but as long as it lasts, I'm here and available.
Surprise Ultimate.
Yeah. Surprise Ultimate. Could you imagine? Oh, no. Jesus Christ.
No, I couldn't.
No.
That would be out of this world. But yeah, no, absolutely no new Ultimates coming. We're only getting Criterion, and that's it. Then we have to sit and wait until summer of next year for the rest of the Savage and Ultimate content. Although the next expansion is apparently going to have Criterion, Savage, Ultimates, all kinds of stuff
Palace,
for us to do
stuff.
You can dye 2 things on your shirt.
Yeah. The biggest thing that everybody was excited for. Yeah. 100%.
I know.
Wow, now I can be twice as reminded that I don't know what it looks like.
Yeah. That's all right. That's all right. We'll explain it to you.
Oh, okay.
Whenever you need
That
it.
helps.
We'll
Yeah,
describe it.
the guy in the disco shirt tells me.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's shiny.
Cool. That's about the
Lots of
only
colors.
detail I got out of it.
One color goes from the next each line.
Yeah, I can see all 3 colors. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's wearing the Loprit floor.
Basically, yeah, absolutely.
Does that mean you like
It's
to be stepped
Friday,
on by
you know.
bunnies?
Goofy Shirt Friday. I think we all should do it. If you guys have goofy shirts, you should wear them on Fridays.
That is such a corporate hangover thing that you have kept.
You know, it's not entirely because it never really went well. You know, no one ever really did it, except for like
I
the really.
Like,
I
wore fucking shorts
people.
to the office, man.
Well, you don't show. Well, maybe you do show it on stream a lot. Depends on if you're doing DDR, I guess, right?
Yep. Just mod. I need 6 more pennies to finish modding that thing.
I don't understand it. I don't think you'll have to explain it to me.
I put pennies between the sensors to extend the sensors by using the pennies and their properties.
Feels like cheating.
No, it's to make it so that they don't double tap, which does happen with the sensors. Like if you put your foot down and lift your foot up, it counts as 2 steps instead of 1. Instead of just pressing it being 1. That happens.
You go to a competition, do they put pennies in there?
No, they're professional machines, not made for home machines.
I got you. All right, cool.
So we're good. Either way, thank you again for joining. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you again to our sponsors over on Patreon for supporting. They don't have to, they choose to. And thanks to SteelSeries for always being SteelSeries. Always appreciate that. It's good. Frosty, since you're the guest, I'll let you sign off first. Let's tell everyone what you got going on, what you're working on, where they can find you. You know, the stuff that we never like doing, but we do it because somebody else tells us to do it.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, you should 100% come to my stream and subscribe immediately. Just go ahead and open up twitch.tv/mogtalk. Hit that subscribe button. It's super cheap. Just go hit it. Hit it a whole bunch of times. Just hit it like as many times as it'll let you hit it. Just go crazy with it. Yeah. But no. I am doing a lot of crazy stuff with Party Finder. That's mostly my focus right now. That may evolve, whatever may happen after that into other things. But a lot of it is really just trying to help people get through content in Party Finder, which is a lot of fun as a healer. I enjoy it a lot, having that experience and commenting on that experience and sharing the feelings of all the wonderful people out there who make up Party Finder together. So you can come and do that during our weekdays. If I am on top of things, usually you can see a Mog Talk on Saturdays. I have a Mog Talk tomorrow where we're going to be talking with Hector Heckerson and Renan, bringing on them to talk about early guides that, Party Finder and many other people use that have various different opinions on them and just discussing it in the whole process. So bringing them on. And then we will be doing Top Sunday, which we're at P5, early top, trying to get through Delta. Once we get through all of this and that charity incentive made at the beginning of the year.
Such a bad incentive for your
It was the worst. I didn't think we'd get $50,000 though, so that's I just gotta keep reminding myself, $50,000 for charity, and I just have to.
Now, can you do another one and get $50,000 to get you to stop?
I don't think. Well, that would that'd invalidate, everyone else's stuff. But no,
I'm trying to save you. Is all I'm saying.
The only saving I have is clearing it, so I'm going to do it. I'm doing it on a healer too, which huh? Ah, God. But I'm doing that, and Criterion's coming up. We'll probably put on a small event for that. But that's mostly of what I'm doing here on Mog Talk, and the channel's Mog Talk. I changed it, even though a lot of the content's daily streams with me now. The core is still Mog Talk at the heart, I suppose. But yeah, I appreciate you letting me come on. This has been fun. I like talking to you guys. Every once in a while, I pull you onto my show so I can force a conversation and hang out with you guys. It's my excuse to be able to hang out with people. So
it works.
It works. Yeah. But that's it. That's all I got. I got nothing else.
All right. Well, thanks for taking the time to be on here today instead of doing Party Finder.
No problem. He gave me a little bit of a break from it, so that's good.
We're sorry to have pulled you away from Party Finder.
To
make you do this of all things. Ugh.
I mean, this is a little worse, but it's okay.
Yeah. They're like nearly equal. It's fine. Yeah. Sly, what you got going on, boss?
Yes. You can find me at twitch.tv/Sly, aka Gray Fox. You can find me on Twitter at Sly the Fox. Again, the pony ride tomorrow. Again, if you hadn't seen the post, just go to my Twitter. All the information's there. Also doing first Saturday, later on that night, saying sayonara to summer, because it'll be autumn by the end of this month. So, yeah, there's that. Still getting through our 18 playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3. We are in Act 3. We've been in Act 3 forever, but we're nearing the end. And then I'm done with Armored Core. I still got to do some log hunt shit for like 4 missions and then S-rank everything. I'll have time to do other shit, like other incentives that we met for the Fantasia-thon, which is still going. So I'll be playing my first Dragon Quest game. I will be playing the Spoodermans because that's coming out soon. There's other stuff, but yeah. Perhaps, what are you up to? Where can they find you? What you doing in life?
Mr. Happy here, and I'm just trying to chill right now because there's a billion games coming out. I'm hoping to finish Sea of Stars in the next couple of days, and then I have a few days before Ever Crisis comes out, and then there's Pokemon DLC, and then there's Lies of P, and then there's Dragon Quest Infinity Strash, and then there's patch 6.5, and then there's going to be the Criterion a couple weeks after that, or actually probably after FanFest. I think we just discussed that earlier. And then there's FanFest, which, I won't be going to, but I'll be reporting on and everything. And then in November, there's Super Mario RPG and Star Ocean 2. So, yeah, I'm just trying to keep it sane, and I'm glad I had Armored Core in there because I loved it. So much so I kind of want to make another YouTube channel just to upload Armored Core and Soul stuff. Frosty.
I wish I had time outside Party Finder.
You just not do Party Finder.
Just not do Party Finder. How simple is that?
If only. If only.
If only
it's what the people want.
Simple. And I'll be shilling for September all month because why wouldn't I? Because it's September.
Yeah.
I have to do Blitzball on the 26th. I owe that from Streamathon, so I have to do a full day of Blitzball, and I have Jackbox that night too because I also owe that for a stream incentive. In fact, I have 3 incentives I'm taking care of all on the 26th, so that'll be fun. Okay. And it's a modded Blitzball too.
Is that? I'm hoping that's good.
I have no idea. I've never played the modded Blitzball before, so I don't know what to expect from it. It's going to be a learning experience, but I have to play a whole day of it. Remember when we talked about Top and you regret and the whole 50? Yeah, no, this is
wow.
Yeah.
You have to play a whole day of something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
man.
Man.
This is as big as my no, but here's the thing. I did Top for 16 hours for 15 days straight. I did DSR for 15 hours for 16 hours a day for 15 days straight. I lived that regret. I just condensed it all into 2 weeks.
Man, that sounds rough, dude.
You're backloading it. I'm front loaded it.
I wouldn't know. I've only been in there for like 5 months.
Yeah, a few hours at a time.
Few hours at a time. The few hours I have at night.
At a time.
Yeah. Dedicated to time.
Yeah.
Oy. That fucking fight. You know what? I'm doing September shilling too. You know what I put on there?
What?
At the very top of the list? A DSR.
Why would you do this to yourself?
If I reach that, then I'll be a little bit less stressed financially. So it's up there. So that's why it's there.
Have fun with that.
It's not going to be reached. I'm okay.
Have fun with that.
But yeah. Anyways,
No.
sorry.
Okay. Anyway, that's going to be a wrap for State of the Realm this week. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. And I don't know if we'll see you next week. I mean, well, obviously, we'll have a live letter show. The live letter is the 23rd. We'll do our usual patch shows. October is going to be packed between like FanFest stuff and patch stuff and Criterion and all that, whatever we got going on. But yeah, we'll leave the next week or two up to debate. So we'll see. But we're going to go into a short post show, and then I got some other stuff I got to take care of tonight. So thanks, everyone, for hanging out, and we'll see you next time we do a show. Until then, we bid you adieu. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.